Shalom, shalom, chabrim. Steve Benoon with Jana on Steve and Jana Chat.
Hello, guys.
And so don't forget, though, the camera is way back over there in the far pasture. And, oh, wow, you can see my knee. Sit straight. I'll look skinnier that way.
Well, you lost about how many pounds?
I've lost about 15, 16 pounds.
Yeah, all by...
I had to stop Coke.
Yes.
I stopped all sugar,
Yes.
all gluten products.
Thank you, Jesus. Finally,
I get nothing to eat, in other words. So
Right.
tasteless everything, and that's my diet.
That's not true. No.
But anyway,
Okay.
it is what it is, and I had to do it because I have a lot of allergy issues. So I am getting a little skinnier. My belt is now, because I use a stretch belt, it's gone down. When I have it snug, it's gone down 2 inches.
Yeah. Well, you know, when one day you did
Still
this,
not skinny, though.
you did this video standing up, and you had this swollen stomach,
Yes.
and some
So,
people...
Not quite as swollen as I used to be. So, hey, we're getting there.
You know...
Jana lost more than I did.
Yeah, but somebody said you had a beer belly, and I was like, oh no, my husband doesn't even drink, not even an ounce of alcohol ever. So
I drink that good old corn Coke.
No, it was a wheat belly, guys. It was a wheat belly, swollen from gluten.
Everything they make beer from, but I ferment it within the bowels, and they ferment it in a tank.
Yeah, so, but just stopping gluten and sugar completely, he's losing weight.
Yes.
That's just luck that men have.
All right, guys, listen.
Okay.
This is something you need to be aware of. Our website has changed a little bit. We got a real precious Brother Gary, that's been helping us with the website. And because of the way the system is, it kind of messed everything up. And so it's not quite the way it should be. You should be able to see our news broadcast on here, but we haven't quite figured out how to fix the problem yet. So hopefully we'll get that fixed soon. But what I wanted to bring your attention to, because one thing Brother Gary did, a couple of things he did that was really nice. One, those that like to donate to the ministry, if you go to IsraeliNewsLive.org, not only can you donate online, but you have our address immediately to the right. But right here, the Coming Persecution Orlando Conference, March 30th, 2019. Now, you have to forgive me, dyslexia and me and editing and words and all that kind of good stuff is not the best in the world. You do have the address. Some people keep asking me about where is it at? It's right here in the actual article. It is the Embassy Suites by Hilton, very last part, 225 Shorecrest Drive, Ultimate Springs, Florida, 32701. Now, it's $50 for the admittance. It's a one-day, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. conference with a 2-hour lunch break. Dr. Pigeon, my wife, myself will all be speaking. Things we haven't spoke yet at any of the conferences we've done in the past, maybe a little bit of some things touching on that. Jana will be because of the Noahide loss and what you can expect from that. But the other issue is how do you get a ticket? There's no tickets. You just donate online if you choose to donate online. If you're going to donate online, just simply in the description, make sure you note that it's for this conference you're going to attend. If you're planning on attending and you're going to come in person and you want to pay at the door, you can do that as well. But just leave us a comment. You're able to make a comment on all the posts here. Whoop, not like that, but it should, for you, you should see it. I don't see it, but I know there's a way to do it. I guess if I click on the actual article, maybe that's what gives me the ability. Yeah, there you go. You can make the comment here. And we will come in and reply to you that, yes, we have your name down. Same thing if you're donating online, we have your name down, and you'll be able to attend that. I am planning, and I'm wanting Jana to write more on Israeli News Live. She does a lot of posts on Facebook that nobody knows anything about except those that follow her Facebook page, which is Phoebe Danoon. And but at any rate, she has incredible writings that she does. We want to put those here on Israeli News Live. I did load a new article recently because Brother Bill, a very wonderful brother we met in Oregon. I'm not sure if he's from Oregon or not, but he is actually, wrong thing there. Brother Bill is actually,
You got it. The greatest sellout?
yeah, the great sellout right here. He's transcribing this because he's translating to Chinese. We would love, if you happen to know anyone or yourself, we would like to maybe on some of our news broadcasts, could even be even on Steve and Jana chat, if you are a professional transcriber, you don't mind volunteering a little time to help transcribe some of it or even part of the message. And where we could put that on here, make it on the website, and then include the video or even make it into an MP3 format for people to be able to listen to that don't have quite the ability to watch the videos. But our brother Bill that's doing this, he's going to be doing it in the Chinese language. What a blessing for people. We also have a sister in Germany that's done many of our teachings in German for the German people with subtitles. So that's really nice. It's the only two languages we have, but we would love to be able to have more for people. But anyway, my lovely wife here. Tell us what's going on in the family, because there's one reason why we're running late today.
Oh yeah, we
a lot
apologize. My son has flu, and we had a nurse over here today, and she said that CDC, which is like their profit organization for the medical people, right? Because they believe everything CDC prophesies, if I should say it that way. But she said that the flu this year is late and it's going to be awful and it's extremely, extremely bad. And unfortunately, my son has caught it. We have not slept for 2 nights. Now our daughter is getting it. We are seeing signs of it. So I'm afraid we're not going to be sleeping for another 2 or 3 nights. And he has to take antibiotic, and then of course he's on a high dose vitamin C. So I just want to let you know, if that flu gets you, please get lipospheric vitamin C. Lipospheric C is with a new technology, liposomal technology. It's a ascorbic acid that is encapsulated in a liposome, and it takes the 100% of this vitamin through the stomach into small intestine, where it gets absorbed within 5 minutes. So you get full benefit, because otherwise ascorbic acid, like, you maybe absorb 5%, and if you take too much of vitamin C, you can get diarrhea. But this way you can keep your titers really high, and we know that vitamin C is the best virus fighter that there is. And if you want to know more about it, there is doctor by name, I don't know his first name now, he's an awful, but Dr. Levy, and he has amazing speeches and amazing books on power of vitamin C. So this is one of our many treatments. Others are zinc, and of course a lot of rest and herbal teas and colloidal silver. So that's what we are doing now. I feel I'm getting it too, and I'm extremely sleep deprived. So I really apologize if I cannot think of English word, or if I say something wrong.
Or that thyroid.
Yeah, what?
She doesn't do the th, it's a t.
The
Thyroid.
thyroid. Did I say it right?
I like the roid.
Oh, wow.
I think it's cute. But anyway, all right, let me real quick, just before we get into what we're going to be speaking about today, there are some very interesting things that are going on, guys, and I want you to be able to see this. This here is a video of Michael D., who actually, I believe, lives in Ukraine. He shared this video here. This is from Russia, and right going down the highway, you're going to see it on the screen here in just a second. These here are thermonuclear bombs going down the highway. Here they come right there on your screen now. This guy's a little raining right there, and there it is. Thermonuclear bombs rolling down the highway there in Russia. It does happen from time to time. It's not an uncommon sight, but with so much happening in the world today, several military trucks following as well, another thermonuclear bomb being transported on the highways there in Russia, and I think there's going to be yet one more. So you're going to have 4 thermonuclear bombs that are certainly on the move in Russia, and that was today. All right. Also, another thing that was going on is Crimea, and it is, pardon me, I guess I'm too far from the mouse part here. There we go. another convoy of military equipment, and
This is what Russia.
this is in Crimea. Yeah, this is going on right here. These are, of course, armored personnel carriers going down the road. I expected to see maybe 5 or 6, but it goes on and on and on. There you got 3, 4, 5 in the background, 6 coming out from around the tree now. It's going to change even from armored personnel carriers to other types of vehicles, but we have 7, 8 armored personnel carriers thus far. Passing screen, there's a 9th one. I'm losing my voice as well. I was already getting the scratchy throat and stuff too, but I'm already doing the high C. So, all right, so we have 10, 11, 12. I can see now 12 armored personnel carriers. Where they're headed to in Crimea, I have no idea, but they are in Crimea there. So we have 13 altogether, 13 armored personnel carriers. Then comes following all the other military vehicles in behind that. And it just seems to be an endless line of military equipment on the move there in Crimea. And he never shows the full thing because you can still see behind the tree there when the video stops, more and more military equipment is on its way. We have the issue that is going on, as we shared with you earlier, in Pakistan, in India, a very tense situation. And what was really interesting is we've had a lot of friends from Pakistan, from India, write to us and giving their versions, their thoughts of what is actually happening in the country there. So it's very, very sad, and you know, to see these two nations, both of them nuclear superpowers, both of them in the standoff, and besides the downing of the 2 planes from India by Pakistan authorities that had violated their airspace, which here is the remnant of one of the planes there, and these were, of course, MiGs. And from what I understand, the Pakistani military uses the F-16, and India is using the MiGs. But also, one of the pilots was captured, and I've even heard some information that they have been that Pakistan has also done strikes inside of India. I cannot confirm any of these things as of yet. There, maybe real quick before we get into it, Jana's going to be sharing with us there. Let me see if I can pull up Amichai Stein. He's really good about catching a lot of this. In fact, he was one of the first ones that I saw the situation in Pakistan from. And he's going into Iran on this tweet right here. This one is Makore. Okay, that's not anything about that either. And okay, that's the Cohen. Yeah, the Cohen case is another interesting one there. We did get to hear live today Mr. Cohen, President Trump's, one of his many attorneys, speak about his account with the president for the past 10 years. And I know there's a lot of people that love President Trump. I appreciate that, and I'm not here to bash the president, but some of the things that he says in here are very incriminating. And we're working on our own story right now from a source that we have that's not looking very promising either. That being said, you know, the old saying goes, you know, it's just a matter of some presidents get caught, some don't. They're all guilty, and I guess that's really where it comes down to. But then I got somebody that sent me a message in a video, and they said that I should watch this, where Trump had been prophesied, even before he ever ran for presidency, that he would run, that he would be like a King David. And let me just caution people when we talk about things like that. The same thing happened with Prime Minister Netanyahu. He also, Yanka, was prophesied by Mike Evans that he'd be a prime minister not once but twice. That he was anointed for this job, for this purpose, only to find out years later we were being duped. Yeah. The stage had been set way back then.
That's right.
And we know that because Mike Evans, we found out later, is so in bed with the Pope of Rome. And and I'm not here to say that Mike is a bad guy or nothing like that, but you have to understand, they may believe what they're doing is exactly right, but if they planned Netanyahu that far in advance, there is no doubt, even as Trump has said in many televised interviews, that he would, was considering running for president in the past, but all the pawns are always put into place. So I really question some of these things, and we'll investigate that as well, because I investigated it on Mike Evans, and we saw all the connecting dots there that people never knew about, and just showing how this was set up in the beginning, and even how that Pope Francis, for example, when he was a cardinal, he was brought in
by the Zionists.
Rabbi was studying with Rabbi Riskin on the Noahide laws when he was a cardinal, living in Brazil, Argentina.
But he's now sending a lot of the priests
to study for the Noahide laws.
To study Noahide laws to Israel. So they are very well trained on how to force it on people when the time is ripe and ready. And I'm a witness here on the information on Mr. Trump that he is connected, indeed, he is connected to Putin through Chabad organization. They're both very big supporters of Chabad, and this is how they're connected. That's Chabad is their medium.
They're connected not just by Chabad, though. We do have evidence that they're connected through LLPs, which is limited liability partnership, and LLCs, limited liability corporations. And it's an investigation we've been on now for months. We have shared some in the conference in Oregon about that information, but there are a long list of names that are from Putin's side, from Trump's side, and these people are involved, everything from fast-track citizenship, starting businesses up to be able to get Russians into the country, the Chinese into the country. There's drug money laundering operations that are going on. Businesses have been set up to do exactly that. And our source has even told us that President Trump's name is on the corporation that's doing even the laundering of the drug money.
Sadly so. And then also Q is a Mossad operation, because we are
QAnon,
getting QAnon. I mean, we are getting a lot of, people sending us materials from Q and believing it, and a lot of people are duped because we have sources that prove to us that QAnon is a Mossad Zionist operation. But anyway, that's not what we wanted to talk about. Why don't we just keep going? And then first thing, we should create a playlist of our chat. So
yes, on our YouTube channel, I will get into that for you guys. Where on the bottom of there, where I can create a list where you'll be able to go there later, and all the Steve and Jana chats will be in one playlist where you guys can refer to it, or if you're referring to your friends or something, you can refer them to that
so you
playlist.
can watch previous ones, because like today, when we're gonna go right into it, and some people never heard of Noahide laws, they might not really understand everything that we are talking about, how it all ties together. So it's really important to watch our chats from the beginning. Then we want to thank you very much for very positive comments, a lot of positive and very beautiful comments that you send us on these chats. And then also you send us a lot of information. I'm here researching and contacting people, and you guys, a lot of you helping me, because you send me materials I never saw before. And I have the opportunity here on our chats to bring it in front of the people, which is wonderful. So thank you. And if you have anything, please, I really believe we should all get involved in researching Chabad, in researching Noahide laws, and researching Talmud, what's in a Talmud and everything, because I believe that we have two huge dangers in front of us. One is the Noahide laws being in our law system, in Europe and in United States and all over the world, by the way, even in China and so on. And the second one, I think it's 5G and 6G technology. And unfortunately, all of this technology is led by Israeli companies. So I'm afraid this is all tied together, even with Noahide laws.
Right.
So
stand with Israel But remember,
Yeah.
Israel are those that are believing in Yeshua the Messiah.
Identify what Israel is.
Exactly. And I am going to do a message. I have a lot of people asking me the question because I've been speaking about the reptilian race, how it was linked to the Pharisees. And he's revealing more daily on this subject. People have been asking me, though, about Israel being blind for the sake of the Gentiles and how this fits in. I am going to go into that because there is a blind Jew that we love. My family were blind Jews, ended up believing who the Messiah is.
Right.
But you'll see the difference later, and I will go into that.
Now, when we go and talk about this, keep in mind that we love the Jewish people. My husband is a Jew. I am a Jew. So we love Jewish people. We have absolutely nothing against state of Israel. If it was a normal state like any other state and all they wanted is a state for themselves and kept peace. However, when you see that Zionists and criminals and Freemasons are taking over the Holy Land and they're actually hijacking the remnant there and they're persecuting the believers in Yeshua, and now they're trying to dominate the entire world and trying to push Noahide laws, even in United States, Europe, and all over the globe, basically. And when you see that all of these nations are responding to them and they're taking it into our law system, they're putting it in and cooperating with them. So you see that there is this worldwide conspiracy where they're preparing this new world religion, which will be Noahide church or Noahide laws. So as we all thought it will be Sharia law or whatever, or some people thought it's going to be this new age movement. But actually, it's not true.
It's going to be the Noahides.
Right. It's going to be a Noahide laws. Everything points to it. All factual research information points to it, as we are talking about, and we'll talk about. There's a lot to talk about. So, and anyway, and the last little thing I want to tell you is, before we go into our main material, is that I have a surprise for you for Friday, right?
Yes, you do. Very special guest. Can't tell you who it is.
I'm not going to tell you because I want to keep it a surprise. So Friday before Shabbat, we're going to release a video if everything goes the way we planned. And
sometimes you can't speak about it beforehand because you could jeopardize the broadcast.
Right. And
that's why we don't.
That's right.
Especially when you're dealing with people that are known, they're very well known, that the government would rather
or
that
they have information that government is trying to suppress. So I was able to contact someone who agreed to come and tell us about Noahide laws and much, much more.
I need that for my glasses.
What do you need? Oh,
sorry.
Because you're pointing and there's so many things here. I don't know. Okay. So.
I got one more thing too, real quick before you get started.
So anyway, surprise for Friday. Lord willing, it's going to happen. Of course, anything might happen. The person may change mind or whatever. But I pray that we have it for 2 o'clock, right?
We may run it live, but we will record it and put it in high definition on Patreon.
Yeah, I don't know if we will run it live. If not, then we will definitely just
put all right, we'll see then. Very sensitive, very sensitive, very sensitive video, very sensitive interview. One thing I want to ask our listeners that I started a program on Hebrew Nation Radio identifying the Messiah. It's a 30-minute weekly message. It airs on Shabbat. I don't know how to do intros. And I need a 30-second intro and outro for this program. Just some kind of music thing there that we can attach to each one of the videos. And if some of you guys know how to do that with some music that would be very like a biblical type, Old Testament type music with perhaps maybe I wanted to do like an Adobe thing where I don't know what kind of background, maybe an old Torah scroll or something, and then using Hebrew and using the word identifying the Messiah with the English on there would be really nice. I desperately need help on that because I'm about, if you're dyslexic, can't work in your own native language, imagine working in a native program. Forget it. It's just not Steve. Anyway, email me, Stephen Bennoon, BENNUN, at gmail.com. I get hundreds of emails. If I miss it and you send it to me, please forgive me. Just email me again. I'll look for it and I'll respond to you. So thank you very much.
Okay, maybe we should address some of the comments that came in.
All right. You go right ahead. Oh, that's what
no.
we're doing.
Comments.
The comments. All right. Well, I got to find that lady. You know what? I forgot that we had one open like that, so I closed the email thingamajigger.
Oh, really?
So let me go back. I only have 3,256 emails on this one here. That's not counting my other email list of 10,000.
Slide before one. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Okay, so we want to address some of the comments that we got. And we get many, so we cannot address all of them, but so people don't misunderstand it. But when we speak about Noahide laws, we are not speaking against the Jewish people.
I don't know. I was trying to get it big enough where people can see it, but
That's okay,
then I can't even.
Like, for example, this one is Angelique Gusino. And she left a message saying, and how many Christians went around Europe and the world murdering non-Christians, no modern-day Christians or Jews believe or practice many of the things that were from hundreds of years ago. So quit with your evil division between Jews and Christians. Okay, so that much. So what we want to say here that, yes, there was Catholic Church in the 14th century.
Sure. 6 million.
Right, they were not only killing non-Christians, but Christians, right? They were killing believers
actually,
in Yeshua.
Yes, they started originally in northern Africa,
Right.
and this is where we get into the Inquisitions and things.
Spanish
They
Inquisition.
before the Spanish Inquisition, they went to northern Europe. This is when they raised up Muhammad, claimed him to be a prophet. They had raised him up. Alberto Rivera tells us he studied under Cardinal Bea. That's B-E-A, I think is how you spell Cardinal Bea's name. And he had learned how that the Vatican writes about creating the Islamic religion. Mm-hmm. And of course, they had spread all through northern Africa. There was a coming prophet amongst the Muslims. But the reason they were doing this was because many of the Jews of that day, or even the house of Israel, because you have to remember, Yeshua sent his apostles out only to what? The lost sheep of the house of Israel. Mm-hmm. And they had believed the message. It wasn't just the Jews of the house of Judah, but the house of Israel were believing, and they were having great success in converts. This is one reason why we have the Nag Hammadi text library that was discovered in northern Africa, because there were many believers, like we had many believers in Damascus. And so what the Vatican did, they did not want the competition. They had already, under Constantine, they had already had their 325 AD. This was going to be the canon law. This was going to be the scripture. This was going to be the doctrine. And these Jews that were believers in Yeshua were going contrary to what they were teaching, and so they wanted them put to death. Right. And that's where it all began. And of course, and it goes later in the break-offs from the Catholic Church. Many Gentiles that were believers were murdered. And on their own martyrology books, which Fox Book of the Martyrs is a great source for that, 66 million Christians were put to death by the Roman Catholic Church.
Right, so can we call Roman Catholic Christians? They call themselves Christians, and nothing against people who are Roman Catholics and born with a tradition, but there is a call for them to come out, because the actual leadership, they have a problem with the leadership of that particular church system, okay, because they are definitely not Christian religion, although they want to be called Christians, but they're not true, real Christians and followers of true, real Yeshua, okay, so here we go. I am not, or we are not creating any divisions between Jews and Christians. In fact, if I can tell you, the best people that Jewish people have on earth today are American people. Aren't we the people who support them in every way? I mean, look at Zionist Christians, for example. Many people in that system there. We were there with Steve as well. and we with all of our heart and mind supported Jewish people and wanting to bring them together with the Christian people. What happened? Well, we found out what is really happening behind the scenes. We find out what they're planning against the believers in Yeshua. We find out how they're planting Noahide laws in systems and laws and in governments with the plan of killing believers in Yeshua. We find out that they persecute believers in Yeshua in Israel. And when you find out these things, if you find out you really don't have true friends in there, right? These are
That's
not
right.
true real friends, but backstabbers. So when you find out something like this and you bring this to people, Angelica, you bring this on the out and you warn your fellow brothers and sisters, this is not making divisions between Jews and Christians. This is making very honest and loving people aware of what's happening, and they need to be aware of this, and they need to be very, very careful who they support. Okay, Talitha, my dear sister, we have idol worship. We have exchanged Passover for Easter. We have exchanged the Feast of Tabernacles for Christmas, True Sabbath for Sunday. I really do agree that a lot of so-called Christian religions are idol worshiping religions. Do you believe that?
Yes.
So
yes.
when we were talking last time, we were not talking about Catholic Church being the real church. We were talking about true, honest believers in Yeshua.
Exactly.
Who believe Yeshua is divine and worship Jesus Christ and believe in Him as the Messiah and the Savior of the world. Believe in His blood being sacrificed for our sins. So this is who we were talking about. We understand that there is a lot of idolatry
I would
within.
like to address this too.
Right.
On the Feast of Tabernacles or the Feast of Booths. It is Yom Sukkot in Hebrew is how we say that. And this is very important because even in our modern traditions in Judaism, we set up the booths, we keep the tradition that Moses has commanded, but you're living in an age now where even the celebration of Yom Sukkot is even greater than it was when Moses gave this commandment. Because what is a sukkah to begin with? A sukkah is a tent. Where did, for example, when Isaac married Rivkah, Yitzhak marries Rivkah, he takes her to where? To his father's sukkah in Hebrew. This is where he goes, to the sukkah, and he marries his bride. He goes in there to her. To truly keep Yom Sukkot, or the Feast of Tabernacles, is us coming in as one with Christ, inside of Christ, within His own Father's tent. And that's the true celebration. You know, nothing wrong. If you want to keep and have a sukkah during the time of the fall feast, there's nothing wrong with doing that. But always remember, the greater sukkah is to be in Christ, and that's the true fulfillment of that.
That's right. So let's just move on to our first slide.
Okay.
Steve. Yes.
I can't see. My glasses need to be stronger.
Okay, so let's talk about how this is something that I want you, Steve, to read, because I believe this is worth reading and discussing and analyzing. This is from the September 2018, not too long time ago, from the source right from Israel, Haaretz.
Yes.
Noahide
Which
Project,
means the land. Noahide Project
Right.
seeks to create a world religion whose believers adore Israel.
Wow, world religion, what you know, isn't that what's promised?
Let's look at that one more time.
Yeah.
Project seeks to create a world religion whose believers adore Israel.
Right.
I want you to adore the true Israel of God, and those are those that as their eyes come open believe that Yeshua is the Messiah.
But that's not who they think.
Right.
They want you to
This
adore
is a secular state.
secular political state run by Freemasons, Rothschilds, right?
Exactly.
Led by Zionists who murdered their own children of the Zionists and so on. So this is very important. They can watch video if they want. We don't have
Okay.
time, but let's read this, Steve.
Okay, Rabbi Ori Sharik.
No, not this. It
Okay.
starts right here. I'm sorry.
All right. I can go. Okay.
No, can you read
Okay.
all
Okay. I
of
got
that,
you. Okay.
please?
The Noahide Project has the support of Israel's chief rabbinate and the Israeli government.
Stop there. Noahide Project has support of rabbinate,
the chief
Yeah,
rabbinate.
Chabad organization, which through Kushner is in our White House, is actually moving it along all over the world. And then look, Israeli government supports Noahide project. In fact, I totally forgot to give you a slide, which I will make myself a note and bring it up next time.
Okay.
When Bibi Netanyahu has addressed Noahides, and he has addressed the
Yes.
convention with support and excitement about the Noahide laws. I have proof of it, and I forgot to prepare the slide, but I will next time. I'll make myself note.
Right.
So let's keep going.
And the Israeli government. Noahides are members of a new religion founded by rabbis from Israel, which Rabbi Riskin is one of those rabbis.
Oh yeah.
Mainly from Chabad and the religious Zionist movement, a form of Zionist mission that seeks to create a world religion whose believers adore the Jewish people and the state of Israel. The first Noahide gathering took place in Texas in 1990 and was attended by Rabbi Mir Kahani.
Right. So we can keep going down because the more what he said.
Our friends all over the world, the Noahides, you are the lucid persons in a perplexed world. You are the hope of the world. Happy good day. Thus, in somewhat broken English, Rabbi Ori Shariki, head of the Noahide World Center, greeted his followers in a video clip on the occasion of Humanity Day, the holiday of the Noahides, also known as the Children of Noah, which was last celebrated on the 27th day of the Hebrew month of Mahashavan, November 10th, 2017. According to the Jewish tradition, it was on that day that Noah and his family emerged from the ark and received the 7 commandments that apply to all human beings, among them the prohibitions on idol worship, on murder, on eating flesh torn from a living animal. When Noah left the ark, he built an altar and made a sacrifice, which is why the Noahides eat grilled meat on their holiday. And I'll tell you something, maybe next time I'll go into this with you guys in Hebrew.
Right.
No time did Noah say grill and eat the animal that way. You know, now I'll agree, God gives the commandment, he gives the permission for eating of animals. But it actually, we find that over with Moses, when the quail. The
with a
quail
lot of
was the first place.
prohibitions.
Right, a lot of
That's
prohibitions.
right.
But Noah never did. And they totally taken this, and they do not tell the people the truth of what the Hebrew translation is.
Right. But now, what I want to say is, did you catch that part when it says it's a world religion that they're creating?
World religion.
Remember when all the pastors were warning us about one world religion, one world government, one world...
But if Israel does it,
it's okay.
It's okay.
And, I mean, what's the one world religion? Oh, Pope is going to bring the...
And he's part of it, but here's where we missed it. I missed it.
Yeah.
Because you have to understand, I was a Chabad Jew to begin with.
Right.
Even when we first started the ministry.
Yeah.
My wife will tell you.
True.
Well, she can name you rabbi after rabbi. I won't name their names here, but we know rabbi after rabbi. We used to go on the high holidays to the temple, right there in Fort Myers.
That's right.
We would go there
You went to a
the
lot
synagogue.
of Chabad meetings, but I wasn't allowed because I'm a woman.
Yes,
Exactly.
because of being Chabad. And of course, it's a very ultra-Orthodox type of setup there.
Yes.
And precious rabbis. I mean, I had rabbis all through Florida, very close friends, very tight-knit community, and we were part of this community, and we were very loved by the
Yes.
Chabad organization.
But we didn't know at that point. We really missed it. We didn't know that they're preparing this one world religion, being Noahide religion, okay? And what it means for you,
Yes.
what it means for me, who love Jesus from all of our heart and mind and soul.
And the thing is they knew we were believers.
And they knew, but they thought because
They tolerated it.
They tolerated it, but they always thought that they are going to persuade us.
We were
As
even
they
involved
think they're going
with the
to.
Night to Honor Israel. A precious Brother Gary. I won't call Brother Gary's last name. He's been on our program before. Wonderful brother.
Yeah.
And he
loves
was hosting
Jesus
it.
too.
He knew John Hagee, and he was hosting the one in South Florida. And they wanted us there because we knew all the rabbis. Every rabbi in South Florida, from Fort Myers South all the way over to Miami, we were very close to them, knew them
Yes.
well. And
So we had no idea that all these top rabbis there and the leadership
this was
is
working.
actually preparing this. Maybe there wasn't information, but we just
Well,
didn't have it.
Some of the rabbis that we knew, because they talked to me about these things privately as well, they didn't like it. I have to be honest about it. They didn't like it. But they were being groomed into it as well.
Yes.
So as the ministers were being groomed into it to accept it, they were getting groomed into it. I even filmed Lori Cardozo Moore at one of these events.
Yes.
It wasn't a night to honor Israel, but she was there.
Yeah.
And she was there, and I was there we filmed it. I think we even loaded it right here on this channel. So we know how this works, but we had no idea that they were using this setup to be able to merge together to a one world religion.
To Noahidism.
Yeah.
One world. I mean, that's the ultimate goal of this whole
Yeah,
thing.
who would have ever thought that John Hagee was going to end up becoming bowing down to the Vatican?
And he's hosting Rifkin, who is a main perpetrator. He
Riskin.
educated Riskin, exactly. And we
Rabbi
will talk
Riskin,
more
yes.
about Hagee and Riskin next time. And we will bring you a lot of proofs on that. But let's keep reading.
A new religion subordinate to Judaism.
There we go. That's your new world order religion.
But who are these Noahides? They are members of a new religion subordinate to Judaism, founded by rabbis from Israel, mainly from Chabad, and the religious Zionist movement. According to the World Center, there are dozens of Noahide communities across the world with more than 20,000 believers.
It's more now. It's more. It's
Yes.
actually more.
That's a hefty number given that religion was only founded at the beginning of the decade. Hayya mahala. What did I do there?
It's okay.
That's no language, okay? It just
Small Noahide
Silly stuff.
communities exist
in various countries, with the largest one in the Philippines.
Keep moving because
All
I'll
right.
be more information.
Cooperation.
You can keep the Philippines, keep going down.
Okay.
There is more important information. Let's go up a little bit. Up. Benjamin Netanyahu, who
Okay.
has sent his greetings to all the communities worldwide. Benjamin Netanyahu is so involved, and we used to love the guy. Remember? Somewhere is a video of you and me before we went to Israel to live there, and we wanted to make Aliyah.
We actually
And we-
brought all of our people together
Yes.
to do a video of support for the
For
Prime
Benjamin
Minister
Netanyahu, and
in the state of Israel.
I spoke on that video to Netanyahu, and I thanked him for supporting the Jews, for bringing the Jews together, for being friend of Christians. And I actually praised Israel as the only democracy in the Middle East and the only woman-friendly Middle Eastern nation, not knowing at the time, before we went to live there, what everything is happening and how Israel is not a democracy. That
We
they're-
thought at the
you
time
know,
that President
so-
Abbas was a bad guy.
Right, exactly.
We thought
so,
he gassed his own people, things like that.
only because we really did not have all the information, and
Yes.
just like a lot of Zionist Christians today honestly believe the truth.
Right.
So here we are telling you
And our desire is their eyes will come open. I mean, there
just like
are
our
there,
eyes came open.
there is a remnant that is blind, and that doesn't mean, you have to understand, when Paul says all Israel shall be saved, if you pay attention to the text, it's all the remnant down through the last 2,000 years will be
Yes,
saved.
that's
Not
right.
every single person that has a Jewish title is going to be saved.
And not Israel is not just the Jewish people, but people adopted to
Yes.
to the tree, from wild olive tree, the branches who from the tree were cut off, and then from the wild olive tree were put inside of the tree so they can be fed by the root. And who is the root?
Yeshua HaMashiach.
Yeshua. And then this tree filled with Jews and Gentiles
I'm feeling pretty good tonight.
who are actually what? They're fed from the root, from Yeshua, Jesus Christ. This is the Israel of God. This is his apple of his eye. So this is what we have to understand, what real Israel truly is.
Wow, you think about that root, and I cannot help but think of when John said, the axe is laid to the root of the tree, and every tree that does not bring forth good fruit is hewn down. Now that's not even a branch there.
I mean, it
that
all
goes
fits
into what
together.
we have been discovering
That's right.
recently, and that's for another day.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that there are countries in which groups and communities identify themselves as belonging to the Jewish people or as descendants of the 10 lost tribes of Israel is nothing new. Similarly, we were familiar with Christians who admire Israel, but the Noahides are the theological phenomenon of very recent vintage. It's a form of Zionist mission.
Stop here. Zionist mission. If you are a Zionist Christian, if you think Zionism is so great, okay?
Now, let me make this comment here.
Noahides, being a Noahide is a form of Zionist mission. That's their ultimate goal. And I will prove it today. Some slides that I brought up, you will see. Go ahead.
Who's that guy with Trump that got arrested not long ago here in Florida? That was Roger Stone.
Oh, yeah.
Those of you that don't know, and I'll tell you about him, I was there. I was invited there to a Trump rally here in Florida. Roger Stone was the keynote speaker. Privately after the meeting, when he found out that Israeli News Live was there, he was very excited. We shook hands together. I thought he was going to be a nice guy, and of course, although I had some reservations about President Trump, I was still hopeful. And then I come up to him, and as he smiles really big, he says, "I'm a hardcore Zionist, and so is President Trump."
Right.
He didn't know that I knew what a Zionist was, what he's talking about. And I'm not talking about the religious Zionist that wants to return home to Israel to see the coming of the Mashiach, that's truly looking for a genuine Messiah, not an Antichrist spirit, but a true Messiah. That's the kind of Zionism that's this right here. That tells you then that what President Trump is doing is right in line with the Noahide laws, which he has signed on to himself as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And hey guys, something is happening next month, very soon. March 27th, 2019 is the Education Sharing Day, USA. You watch for President Trump, he's gonna
It's not going to be the Bible in the school, friends.
No, and it's not gonna be prayer that day to Jesus, or to the Father through Jesus.
If they allow the Bible back in the school, it will be coupled with the Talmud. And the education is going to be educating you under Noahide law system,
right.
because this is a global event.
It's a global event, but March 24th, Stephen, is that a day when they signed the
Rabbi Schneerson's birthday.
They sign every year this declaration, and our President Trump signed it last year. And he's about to sign it again because Chabad wants it re-signed every single year just to make sure it keeps going and it's there.
I wonder if they cloned Schneerson
why don't
before
we
he died.
watch for news? There will be new pictures. Let's see.
Okay.
So here, I want to read this again. It's a form of, let's go back. But the Noahides are a theological phenomenon of very recent vintage. It's a form of Zionist mission which seeks to create a world religion whose believers adore the Jewish people and the state of Israel, but without belonging to it either. Now, see, they don't want you.
No, without belonging to either. The believers are required to accept the supremacy of Judaism, but are not accepted into the Jewish people and are even barred from upholding such commandments as Sabbath observance.
Let's stop. Okay.
Ooh, it's going to get really bad, guys.
Yes.
I got to put on my shoes. I got to be ready for this one. Go ahead.
Now, this is a little bit confusing. But let me explain to you what is really happening here. They say that you are going to have to admire or be under the leadership of Judaism, but you cannot be adapted to Jewish faith, okay? Because if you are a Gentile, they really don't seek to proselyte. They're not proselyting religion. They say they don't want you to be a Jew. They want you to stay a Gentile.
Yes.
But they want you to adopt Noahide laws and live by Noahide
and
laws.
Jesus is out.
Jesus must be completely denied. And then
He can be a prophet.
and you
It's
have to
okay.
be submitted to the rabbis and go by their laws and be under their jurisdiction. And they're going to decide for you what you have to believe, what you have to follow. 7 Noahide laws with about 620 sub-laws of all kinds that we will go into, guys. Remember this book from last time that I showed you? Very interesting. This explains their plans and everything they're preparing. So you will not be accepted into Jewish people, but you are even barred from upholding such commandments as Sabbath observance. Recently, somebody, Stephen, I received a letter from some people who follow a certain minister who is from Israel. He's extremely popular in here, in the United States. He travels all over the world, especially countries where Zion is conquered. You know, wherever they conquer, he follows.
Oh, yes.
But anyway, somebody wrote me a message that on one of the conferences he said that Christians who follow Sabbath are the synagogue of Satan. So basically discourages Sabbath observance. Now some
That's
rabbis,
what I was going to get into, because they're saying to the rabbis this is not just saying, these are laws. Many things you cannot do. If you're a Gentile, and keeping in mind, a Jew that believes Yeshua to be the Messiah in their book is no longer a Jew.
Right. So, and you know, some rabbis speak that we have to observe Sabbath, but then when you go deeply into it, like the Gentiles
They'll put you to death for doing it.
No, yeah, but only they will tell you how to do it, but you can never do it the way Jewish people do it.
And you're not allowed to teach either.
Oh no, absolutely. Gentile can never.
Gentile is not allowed to teach.
You can teach a fellow Gentile Noahide laws only.
Noahide laws only.
Right.
You're not allowed to pick up the Tanakh,
Right.
the Torah. While you're looking at that, I'll show you guys something.
That's right. I'm just sleeping quick because I'm just looking. Well, let me keep going.
Here we go. You would not be permitted to have the scrolls in your house. You would not be permitted to open this right here.
Well, some high-ranking Noahides can, but only certain parts, right?
From some of the things that I've read, they're not allowed to touch it.
You know, if I knew we are coming to this, I would actually mark some of the pages.
So now we have the true Torah, but the thing is, even though I have a Levitical bloodline, because I believe in Yeshua, that's out. That is out. Nothing doing there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, in his book, what I found out, that's a side note before we go in, because we are getting distracted here.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Kind of not.
I do the rabbit trails. My wife stays focused. This is why people love her in a conference. See, I don't get to speak then. You know, she used to tell me, and what is that one video?
No, I stay like,
she says,
I prepare.
speak to the hand.
You go all over the place. It's hard to then follow. But what I want to say is that now I'm going to follow you in what you do. Did you guys know that we all know that Catholics believe in purgatory, kind of like a place where you
Oh
go.
my gosh, this is so
Yes, that you go and it's not really hell yet. It's not heaven.
Yeah.
It's somewhere where your soul gets cleansed, right? Okay, I thought it's a pure Catholic belief. Honestly, I thought this is a Catholic false belief.
good. So did
Well,
I.
I just found out it's from Talmud. That's a Talmudic teaching. Talmudists believe in a purgatory. I was totally shocked, but anyway, we will bring more and more because of course we have chats every Wednesday. So Stephen, if you don't mind, you can just take out it later because we got.
I am. You
Okay.
keep right on going, and I can read if you want.
Yeah, I would like you because I have this accent.
You can never place the Torah, though, just anywhere. I'll keep it on my lap for the remainder of the broadcast.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Create a world religion whose believers adore the Jewish people in the state of Israel without belonging to either. The believers are required to accept the supremacy of Judaism, but are not accepted into the Jewish people and are even barred from upholding such commandments as Sabbath observance. Anyone who wishes to be a Noahide is called upon mainly to recognize the Jewish people and its state. Keep in mind, this is Haaretz,
Yes, the Jewish.
Israeli newspaper, and I can tell you right now, people at the Haaretz are not crazy about Christians either, but at least they're honest enough to tell us what's going on.
Okay, let's keep moving, please.
In fact, okay, I won't go into that now.
I'm worried it's going to be 2 hour broadcast.
I'm not keeping up with time tonight. Sorry, guys.
Last month, Nova Religio, which is probably a magazine, a journal devoted to emergent and alternative religions, published an article by Rachel Feldman, assistant professor of religious studies at Franklin and Marshall College in Pennsylvania, titled "The Children of Noah: Has Messianic Zionism Created a New World Religion?" Wow, somebody else is noticing here and publishing material and articles asking if Messianic Zionism has created a new world religion, which is what, Steve? Noahidism, or
Yes.
I don't remember. Noahide.
And keep in mind,
religion.
the Pope of Rome is already completely on board with the Noahides.
Yeah.
He is the one that has galvanized all Christian religions under the authority of the Vatican.
Okay, let's keep moving. In the summer of 2017, Feldman visited Noahide communities on the Filipino island of Cebu, which are supervised by Chabad rabbis. Of course, they are everywhere, guys. They are just all over the planet. Like most Noahides around the world, the members of the Cebu community came mostly from Protestant churches, but had abandoned their belief in the New Testament. And this is what I want to say.
You showed me that video
Right.
of once believers, and no doubt, maybe they
We
even
will
were
show
part
it
of
next
Hebrew
time.
roots.
Let me just keep making notes what we're forgetting to
Okay.
bring here. Keep,
But we saw them go right before they went on the Temple Mount with one of the rabbis. And it was funny, it's really funny. They're so dedicated to want to become Noahide observant people, thinking they're doing something great. And the rabbi, even though he makes them do the pledge, it's almost like he could really care less. Because why? They were just dogs. Gentile dogs.
That's right. That's what they teach. That's what Gentiles are.
Failing to know that Abraham is a father of Kol Hagoim, Rabbah Hagoim. Many Gentiles, not nations. The word is Gentiles.
Yeah, so this is what they believe, by the way. And all of these ex-Protestants, or even some ex-Catholics,
Right.
and then also evangelicals, or what is really bad is those Hebraic movements are infiltrated by Chabad, and those people who once believed in our Lord Yeshua are living the faith, living the New Testament writings, and they're going and following rabbis, and rabbis who are teaching this, what you see right here.
Yes, the Jew has 5 levels of soul, while the Noahide only has 3 and remains on an animalistic level.
This is an official teaching, and they
You would think we're back in the medieval times.
exactly, but that's where it's all going.
They're going to measure your head next. Oh, sorry, you have no brains.
Again, let me remind you, this is Haaretz. Haaretz. Last year, September.
They're warning us.
Warning you, telling you, what is this all about? New World Religion. Okay, and all of these Noahides know that the teaching there is that Gentiles are animalistic level and putting Jews almost like divine beings. Okay? Of course, it all contradicts teachings of Yeshua and Apostle Paul, and says there is no Jew, there is no Gentile, because in Christ we are all one. And it also contradicts the original tree of Jews and Gentile branches being crafted in and adapted to faith, Abrahamic faith, by belief in Yeshua, and they being nourished from the root, which is Christ. Let's keep going because it has some really shocking information, Steve. I don't know if we can get to everything else, but then we'll just do it next week.
Continue reading here. One of the groups, Feldman, observed lives in mountainous, financially challenged rural region in the past, and its members were cave dwellers who belonged to a Sabbath-observing church called Sacred Name Believers. Their leader is the Noahide preacher Emmanuel Villages. For years he visited poor communities in various islands and converted them to the children of Noah. He called on them to renounce Christianity and to burn their holy books, though not before cutting out the tetragrammaton, God's Hebrew name, from the text.
Okay, burning of the New Testament is becoming very common. In fact, last time I have posted on my Facebook, which is Phoebe the Noon. Phoebe is my nickname, but I have posted some news where New Testament has been burned in Jerusalem twice already, where hundreds of Orthodox Jews and students of yeshivas have come out to the streets of Jerusalem and burned the New Testament, and there was no police stopping them. Supposed ally and friend of United States, okay? Knowing that United States is a Christian country and knowing that a lot of Christians support Israel. So if we are giving such allegiance to Israel and being so tolerant to their religion and so patient for them, and let them be, and let God be the judge, not us, right? Why they don't return the favor?
Yes.
Okay? So the thing is that they're burning these books. There no police comes out to stop them. And
well, it's their own books. They have a right to burn what they want, but as a believer, you
now
wouldn't.
what would happen?
I mean, we have Christians being arrested in England and Scotland right recently for preaching on the street.
Which is Zionist movement in there who is causing this. But what I want to tell you, what would happen, imagine what would happen if New York, we went and burnt a bunch of Talmuds and hundreds or thousands of students came out of theological seminaries and we all came out and started burning Talmud. Tell me what would happen.
They put you in prison. If you didn't get killed
they
before
called you
that.
anti-Semite.
Yes.
Okay, you would be anti-Semite, you would be in prison for hate crimes, hate speech, for you name it. But these things are happening in so-called democracy called Israel right
and
now.
And the media would persecute you. You would be tried in the media and put to death by the media itself.
I don't know. I just imagine this, guys, what would happen if we burned Talmud. So, but this is happening in Israel with the support of police and support of government because no law came. Nobody stopped this. No law came out of Knesset that there is nothing like this we can do here in Israel and so on. You guys were wrong. Nothing. Okay, so...
One thing, let me just mention real quick, because some people may wonder, why did they cut out the Tetragrammaton or the divine name? It is a belief in Judaism that the name is so sacred that you cannot destroy whatever the name is written upon. This is why they will not write it. So, for just a quick example, there was one lady, she was teaching in a school, is actually a friend of ours, and when she wrote on the chalkboard, Yod He Vav He, the divine name for God, everybody freaked out, because now you can't erase it. You can't erase the name. So they come in with a chainsaw, they cut the name out, and they buried it. Anytime, any book that contains a divine name, that is to be separated and buried, not burnt, but buried.
So let's keep moving. So we see, that was a particular Noahide teacher.
Emmanuel Villages 2014, Luamak.
Oh, this is just explanation for picture. Let's keep moving. About 20
years ago, the community's members moved to the village of Lamak, where they built a house of worship marked with a large Israeli flag at the entrance. In accordance with the directives of Chabad rabbis, they no longer observe Shabbat, as this precept is reserved for the members of the Jewish faith alone and is denied to Noahides. Okay, I think we should stop right there, because what a lot of people may not realize, in the beginning, Bereshit bara Elohim et hashemayim ve'et haaretz. Okay? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and of course we go on, and they were without form and they were void. And what does he say though? After he did all the creation on the seventh day, he rested. And he gave that command for mankind, Adam and Eve and their descendants, that on the seventh day they're to rest. That is not exclusive to the Jewish people who came at the time of Yaakov, whose name was changed to Yisrael, and his 12 sons that created the Israelite people, or even Abraham. This was a command for all humankind to observe the Shabbat.
Okay, here I found this little bit, which I wanted to tell you how they want to prevent Gentiles or believers in Yeshua to study Torah deeply This is their belief. This is from the book The Divine Code by Rabbi Moshe
Weiner.
Weiner.
English. Weiner, and for our European friends, Weiner.
Yeah.
For the Americans, Weiner.
Okay, well, it says E here and it's pronounced E in my country.
Weiner.
Not Y. Since when is E-R? But anyway.
Silent in our language.
It's just English is crazy. But anyway, let's keep moving. It says in here, watch, according to all these Noahide laws, learning Torah for its own sake, which is the aspect of Torah that is a betrothal, an inheritance from God to the Jews alone, and is forbidden for Gentiles. That's on the Noahide laws. So, exactly.
The book I'm writing now, they will burn it as soon as it comes out.
Yeah, exactly.
If the Noahide laws are enforced.
Yeah, but something else I was looking for, and next time. I mean,
all right.
We always have.
So we continue on. They are permitted to greet each other with the words "Happy Seventh Day,"
Wow.
but not to utter the word Shabbat. Well, that's where the word seven is. Why can't I say
Happy Seventh Day?
Instead of Kabbalah Shabbat ceremony used
Shabbat ceremony.
by Jews to welcome the Sabbath. So you can't say Shabbat Shalom, right? The Chabad rabbis invented a ritual for them in which they light 7 candles to denote the 7 Noahide laws.
You will be able to, you see, it's a form of a Sabbath, kind of like Noahide Sabbath. You will be allowed, but definitely not the true Sabbath, real Sabbath.
Feldman quotes one member of the community who explained to her, "You are very lucky because you are white, and white people are rulers of the earth, but you are also a Jew. You are very gifted because you have blood from the chosen people, from Abraham and Isaac." And in his sermons, Villages explains why his community is forbidden to uphold Jewish commandments and dwells on the essence of the difference between Noahide and Jews.
Listen.
Now, can I say something real quick on that?
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what's troubling about this when it comes up to this issue of white. Maybe I can't blame some of our black brothers and sisters that believe that they are the chosen tribe of Judah when it comes to this. Because the Jewish people can be any color because we have been dispersed for, including the house of Israel, 2,800 years, almost 2,900 years. Even my black brothers and sisters that are ancestors to the slaves in America only less than 200, a little over 200 years ago, their complexion is so much lighter than what their ancestors were. You take for example with the hearings in Congress today. Congressman Elijah Cummings. I don't know if his ancestors are from slaves or not, but he's very fair complected to the native African of today. But why? Because they've been in America for 200 years. What about marrying in amongst different races and stuff? We change our colors. So we can't go on that. But I know personally Jewish people whom I would want to call friends, but they're so racist, and they're very much for the Ashkenazi white race. It is a prejudice that is very, very bitter, and it bothers me to the core of my soul. And even the Ethiopians are looked down upon as some kind of lower class citizen, even though they're given Jewish status. They're looked down upon. I hate this.
Okay, let me keep. Can I just
go ahead?
I'm gonna follow in your footsteps and go all over the place.
All right, yeah.
It's like hitting a moving object. You don't know. So I apologize, but
I'm wearing off on it.
That's right. Okay, here is another one. So from the book Divine Code, Future Noahide's New World Religion, Gentiles. Gentiles are permitted to read the 24 books of the Hebrew Bible. Thank you. Oh, thank you, rabbis. We can do that. Even with traditional explanations of the simple meaning, like Rashi. It's okay, you can. In order to correctly understand the verses, but it is forbidden for a Gentile to delve into study of the written Torah, except for verses that discuss the 7 Noahide commandments.
So basically what you as a Gentile, if you go by this idiotic law,
And
you would only be able to read, like on this one here, this is the Chumash. It is by the Chabad organization, printed by them. This is only the Torah, I believe, right? Yeah, this is just my Torah right here. And in here, what we have is commentaries from people like Rashi, Maimonides, things like that. The Talmudic and non-Talmudic traditions that they believe, this is what you could study. This would be what they would give you. Here's what you can have. You can read this, and what they say, you can say.
Right. Now it says here, if a Gentile doesn't understand what is permissible for him to learn, he should ask observant Jewish Torah scholar to explain it to him. So here you go. Just like this article warns you about you going to the submission to Torah rabbis, governed by Israeli rabbis who are having actually all over the world. They're Chabad people, and
We're going to be one giant Jehovah's Witness, Jewish witness cult.
No, it's not really Jehovah's Witness cult. What it is, it's a Judaism cult or whatever.
I know, but what I'm saying, like the 12 men in Brooklyn, now
Right.
we'll have 12
Right.
rabbis in Israel.
Well, we have how many? Sanhedrin, 71?
70, sorry, we have 71.
Okay, so something I want to read to you, Steve. Maybe I didn't tell you this, and I know this is again going away from this, but that's okay. But I wanted to find this. Following your footsteps, Stephen. Okay, so what happens if Gentile dwells into the Torah? It's a huge sin, okay? You are definitely not following Noahide laws if you do that. And it says here, let me read to you from that book, the specific prohibition of learning Torah in depth that is like having a relation with a betrothed woman. Betrothed woman, which is a metaphor for Torah, or stealing that which belongs to someone else, only Jewish people. If you are a Gentile, hold on, if you are a Gentile and you decide, I want to study Torah, okay, according to Noahide laws, they're signed into our government now. And on March 27th, our president is going to sign the declaration for, okay? If you study Torah, you are guilty of two things. Having relations with betrothed woman, because Torah is a woman to them, and you studied it, so you had relations with her. And you are guilty of theft, because Torah belongs to Jewish people, not Gentiles. So
well, in that case there, the scripture says take her out and stone her.
You know, we think 7 Noahide laws, just like Jews have 10 commandments, they say, all humanity has 10 commandments. We know this as followers of Yeshua. We know 10 commandments is what God gave mankind, and He added no more, right? He added no more. So the thing is that according to them,
they're saying that the Jewish people are betrothed, engaged to
Torah, and you have
to our Heavenly Father is really what they're saying, which is strange because that's Perry Stone's doctrine as well, and even Jehovah's Witnesses believe that the Jews are engaged to Jehovah or Yehovah, however you want to say it. And that the Christian are engaged to Yeshua.
Well, that's the false belief of Perry Stone. Very false belief. That was the soft preparation for Noahide laws. All of these preachers are preparing for the future. You know, in a mind of you is going to be that you really don't belong to the covenant. You know, you have your own covenant, Gentiles. You have your own Noahide laws, and you have, it's only 7. They will always say it's only 7, but look at the sub-laws. 620 sub-laws that you will have to follow. And you will have to ask rabbis if you're not sure. So this is pretty scary. That if you study Torah, you had sex with a woman that is betrothed, and you stole. Can you imagine being tried for that because you studied Torah? I mean, this is insane, people. It's getting to insanity. Okay, but let's keep going. So.
Noahides are incapable of reaching the level of the Jews, but they can learn how to improve themselves by the way of the seven commandments. The question and answers site asknoah.org. Boy, I wish we could really ask Noah.
Right.
Also instructs the children of Noah on how to cope with animal cravings.
Okay, sorry. This. Remember what it was that Gentiles had animalistic, they have animalistic souls?
Yeah.
Well, asknoah.org, it instructs you how to deal with animal cravings. Why? Because you're an animal. So.
Yeah, you're just like the little rabbits.
This is insane. I mean, if you go study this, you don't know if to laugh or cry.
And here's the thing, Prince.
know.
You guys, this is what I'm trying to get people to understand too. So many times, especially amongst believers, there is a hunger to know from a Jewish perspective how things really are.
And when you hear this
is the Jews in Israel from the Haaretz newspaper, which is considered to be a secular news source, but they're trying to warn you about their own, not their own people, but a certain group of their own people.
Group that took over that land and a group that is taking over United States. These are not true believers in Yeshua.
This is like the Pharisees of 2,000 years ago. And even
of course.
I love Rabbi Tovia Singer. I consider him a friend. He really wants to know why I believe Yeshua is why I believe Yeshua to be the Messiah. He's open-minded for this. But he himself says that the Orthodox Jews of today are the Pharisees of 2,000 years ago. That's not a very good analogy if you ask me.
Yeah, Rabbi Tovia, he does not want to know. He wants to know why you believe Jesus is Messiah and he thinks you're crazy.
Yes.
But he's not open-minded to...
He may be just wanting to figure out a way to defeat people that believe the way I believe.
Exactly.
And that could be it, because he listens to many of our videos.
And he totally believes and supports Noahide laws.
Sure he does.
Okay,
I'm hoping he's going to be like Paul. He'll come out.
I hope to. I pray that he will. Now let's go.
Okay, in the meantime, Chabad is making efforts to spread the word among non-Jews in Israel. 2, a project that was introduced by the late Rabbi Boaz Kali from Haifa, ethnic hierarchy.
Let's skip.
The Noahide religion constitutes a new form of colonial relations and racial ideology in which the rabbis are shaping a new faith for the inhabitants of the global south as an instrument to advance religious and nationalist goals.
This is basically New World religion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Part of your New World Order. Liberal Jewish philosophers of the modern era, such as the German Jewish thinker Hermann Cohen, viewed the seven laws of Noah as the universal basis of the Bible, which proved that Judaism contains a general moral outlook that transcends the question of the fate of the Jewish people. But the interpretation of Rabbi Sharik is the Chabad rabbi uses the Noahide precepts to lay down an ethnic hierarchy between Jews and Gentiles. Feldman notes that the Noahide religion constitutes a new form of colonial relations and racial ideology in which the rabbis are shaping a new faith for the inhabitants of the global south as an instrument to advance religious and nationalist goals. Feldman points out that the first Noahide gathering, which took place in Texas in 1990, was attended by Rabbi Meir Kahane, founder of the Violent Jewish Defense League. After Kahani's assassination that same year, the Temple Institute, which advocates the building of the Third Temple on Jerusalem on the site of the first two, started to promote the Noahide project in the view of the Institute's rabbis. The Gentiles upholding the seven laws is an important stage in the Messianic process, at the height of which the temple will be built and Israel will become the theocracy that will gain the Gentile support. Okay. One thing, keep in mind, who is Netanyahu merging with now? He's merging with the most violent of violent in Israel. Forget the name of the party there. But they believe in killing the Arabs in the land and stuff like that, driving everybody out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Jeez.
But the Temple Institute, how many Christian Zionist leaders believe that temple, they take money from Christians to support the building of the Third Temple, and Christians support these projects and so on. So the thing is, the Temple Institute advocates the Noahide and promotes Noahide projects, Noahide laws. You see, and here we go. the heights of which the temple will be built, and Israel will become theocracy that will gain Gentile support. So basically, okay, let's read this, and then maybe we will probably have to. And I want to show one more video to them.
Okay.
The Netanyahu talking to Schneerson, and maybe that's all we have time for
Okay.
today. So
You touch me like you know me. Israel's chief rabbinate and Israeli government. This is the world order being promoted. I got you, didn't I? She's so cute. By the Noahide Project, which has the support of Israel's chief rabbinate of the Israeli government. The Noahide Theological Project is closely related to Netanyahu's foreign policy approach, which is based on religious support for Israel.
Let's stop here, please. Let's read this again, because this is so important. I hope that you people can read between lines here, because this is the world order being what?
Promoted by Noahide Project.
Hold on. What? World order.
Let me highlight it. Oh, I can't.
Right.
The mouse isn't working like it should be.
This is the world order being promoted by Noahide Project, which has the support of Israel's chief rabbinate, which are part of Knesset, and gaining more
And of the Israeli government.
That's it, an Israeli government. So when we support Israel, Netanyahu, Israeli government, is everything Israel does, just keep in mind, soon they will stab you, Christian friends, in the back. Right? You're going to have to deny Yeshua. The Noahide Theological Project is closely related to Netanyahu's foreign policy approach. I want you to understand that United States foreign policy is controlled by Netanyahu, by Zionists, and we are mostly sending our children, our boys and girls in military, we are sending them to fight Israeli wars for Israeli interests. We even now have our soldiers and bases in Israel, and general, very famous general who is in Israel, said that American boys and girls, American soldiers, are ready to die for the interest of Israel. So I want you to read this one more time. The Noahide Theological Project is closely related to Netanyahu's foreign policy approach,
which is based on religious support for Israel, as he worded the theological message he offered on Humanity Day in 2015. I want you to notice one more thing.
And this is his words.
The 7 mitzvot. All right? And that's, mitzvot is like, in English you could say, it's like the good deed that you're doing. Of the children of Noah, Gentiles in other words, it's not like, aren't the Jews children of Noah too? Are matters of both faith and morality, which according to our sages obligate all the non-Jewish people of the world.
Okay, these are the words of Bibi Netanyahu out of his own mouth.
Here's the danger in this though. Notice what it is. A mitzvot is a deed that you do. All right? One of those 7 Noahide laws is to establish the courts.
Yes.
The legal system in which to uphold this. And this is exactly what they're getting the Gentiles to do. Deny Yeshua as the Messiah and set up the court. And the problem is, because people love Israel so much and they love the Jewish people so much, they have learned the custom. Right, they've learned the customs of Israel and they know what a mitzvot is. You ask anybody that is into the Hebrew side of things and wanting to return back to the ways of the Jewish people, a mitzvot, they know what a mitzvot is. You know, it's keeping commandments is what it is. Literally, it's keeping the commandments is what you do. And that includes setting up the judicial system for it. And they're doing it globally, right under your noses. And they're setting it up, denying Yeshua now. And what did Yeshua say? If you deny me now, I will deny you before my Father and before his angels.
That's right. But anyway, this is out of the mouth of Bibi Netanyahu. Noahide Project related to Netanyahu's foreign policy approach, foreign policy in the United States. Hey, how about this congresswoman who wants to come to our show? to say how she was forced to sign that she'll support Israel.
Oh my gosh, and do you know?
Another surprise.
Won't tell you who she is yet. We have a congresswoman, former congresswoman. She's no longer in Congress. She spent, I think, nearly 9 terms, I believe, as a congresswoman.
She wants to come
I
with
reached
us on
out
the show.
to her, and she said, "What? I watch Israeli News Live," and it was exciting. But she has been on world news telling how that she was forced to sign that she supports Israel. It's
Anything
really
Israel does in foreign policies, the United States have to be like influenced by Israeli needs, Israeli whatever interests are.
You know, if our country in Israel was doing like what some of the left people, and I'm not for the left politics either, let me clarify that, but if we had people like some of the Israelis there that are for equality and they're for equal rights for all humankind in Israel, there's a lot of Israelis that stand like that, but it's not quite enough for the majority. But if that was the case, I would be here telling you today, stand with Israel. They want to bring peace. Now, they're going to bring peace when it comes. Now, Yeshua says when they say peace and safety, it's not so. So I know it's not so. But as soon as they get everything in place, because it has been Israel with the United States that has funded all the wars, created many of the terrorist attacks, 9/11 perpetrated by the part of the Mossad of Israel in cooperation with elite leaders of the United States, brought down the Twin Towers. We are funding all these wars that are going on around the globe right now, but as soon as everything is in place, they can easily say, funding over, game done, we rule, and there will be no more wars, technically.
Why do you think they're passing all these anti-Semitic laws that you cannot criticize Israel, say nothing
So
about
you
Israel?
can't be told the truth.
So you can never hear the truth. You know, the Watchtower Code does that. Watchtower Code prohibits its own members to read materials of another group or read any other book. Why? Because they're afraid that you will develop critical
There's
thinking.
pastors of churches, non-denominational churches, that'll tell their members, if you go to another church without the pastor's approval, you're committing spiritual adultery.
Right, but that's what
What garbage!
I'm saying. The reason that they're passing these laws is that you're afraid to say anything like this. So it cannot be spread, and all these, I don't know how many Christians that support Israel will never hear this information. They can never critically think. They can never, this is a friend that is going to stab you in the back. You're going to have to deny Yeshua. And the question is, will you deny Yeshua?
Are you willing to deny Yeshua for the sake of the state of Israel is the question.
The final goal of Rabbi Cherky and the Noahide World Center, we are told, is a modest one. 7 billion believers. They want to, who is 7 billion people on the earth, right? So
Yes.
this is what they want, the globe under Noahide laws. So anyway, I have so much more here, but I think we are over time. So
We're
stay-
2 hours, so yeah.
Oh.
No,
I
hour
think-
and a half actually, because we
Okay.
started a little over hour and a half.
So we, at least, I'm
Thank you for
gonna
watching,
continue
though.
next week for sure.
We're going to try to keep this at 9 p.m. Wednesday
Yeah.
nights, Eastern Time, live, Steve and Jana chat. We've not done Noahide laws yet. We haven't finished it yet.
Should I
Give them
take it?
time. Yeah, take the vitamin C.
Yeah, this vitamin C.
It'll
is
gag a
like-
maggot, but it's good for you.
It's kind of gel-like, and people, Steve calls it a snot.
Yeah, it looks like snot.
It looks like gel snot, and he cannot do what I can do. I'll just take it right in my mouth.
Listen,
Oh.
if you have trouble taking it because you know it tastes a little funny, the taste is not really funny. It's just the feeling of it. Ugh.
Nothing wrong
A
with
little
that.
bit of grapefruit juice or even orange juice. You can squeeze them into there, 3 or 4 of them at a time, and you can take it one gulp, a little tiny bit of juice in a cup. That's all it takes, and it's no
Yeah.
problem that way. Then you don't taste anything, and it doesn't feel really weird or
Yeah,
nothing.
and I take it now that there is a flu in our house, and I see my daughter starting it, and my son being extremely ill. Please pray for my son Ethan. Our son
he's
Ethan.
been very sick.
He's been in high fevers and extremely sick and vomiting and everything. So
And he went down very rapidly. 103 temperature he's been running.
Yeah, and it doesn't go down.
So we took him to the doctor today. They've started him on antibiotic. I actually did it by injection.
Yeah,
to
because
try
he
to make it
cannot
work
keep
faster.
anything in his stomach. So anyway, this lipospheric vitamin C, I take 2 every hour, and you can take,
When you're sick.
When you're sick, you can take up to entire package. I'm not kidding you. Your titers of C will come up high, and it's a powerful virus fighter. And if you get the flu, it will be short and a little milder. If you don't do that, you will suffer tremendously. So
let me just say this, because I do know we are getting more people that are, and I'm not saying this.
Just to see how people are doing.
1 second, I will jump over there. But there's so many of you that are writing us right now about, because you're watching this program, and Jana normally never says anything about support. But she does work tirelessly in doing this, and people are taking notice, and they're writing about what can we do to support your ministry. There are 2 different ways on our website, and I'll just blow it up a little bit bigger for you. Right there on the right-hand side of the page, IsraeliNewsLive.org, and of course, not only does it have the online button you can click on, but Danune Institute, 8297 Champions Gate Boulevard, number 442, Champions Gate, Florida.
Now, I want to say, if you send us letters, we do get a lot of letters and some support in the mail.
And we get behind.
If you did send us letters, I am very behind in answering. I like to read everyone, and personally with my handwriting answer you back. Some of you might have experience of getting my letters back, or even Steve will help. So what we do is we read each one and we write you back and answer your letters. If they're extremely long, it's very difficult time-wise, but we still try.
Yes.
But we are behind right now, so if you didn't get it, please know we thank you very much for your support. We are extremely thankful to our Father for you, and that you keep us on in this ministry, and that you will get a reply. Please, I promise you, even if it will be 2-3 months late.
I'm going to start doing voice command on my computer and then sign it afterwards, but it'll still be personally written.
You are going to receive
slow,
a letter.
So.
It's just we are late in everything because we are just super extremely busy. So.
Yes.
But thank you so much.
All right, so let's just greet everybody. And you guys might be able to see me, and I probably cannot see you because maybe I didn't shut everybody off. Let's see. Okay, no, I didn't close y'all all down. I just caused the screen to change. So anyway, stream health is not that great. We're going to get this taken care of here too.
What's that?
It's on a yellow band right now. We're contacting our internet company here. I think we can get the upgrade, and we're going to upgrade ours to 10 megabytes per second, so that when we live stream, you're not getting this yellow band feed where it's slow and choppy, but you will get it to where it'll be green like it is on the computer that's actually filming it, and we can do it in high definition. So be patient with us. We will get this fixed very soon. And also, when we do that, I forget what I was going to tell you now, but it's okay. So anyway,
is Sister Tamer here as a
yes, I don't know if she's on tonight. We want to thank our moderators, Christine.
Yes.
Bless you, my sister.
You're supposed to have a new moderator, and we hope we added her, so I hope it works.
I did. I don't know if she's on tonight, but we did. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Trish,
Sister Trish. Bless you, Sister Trish. Also,
thank you, Sister Trish. I'm happy that it worked. So
and
appreciate
Sister Trish, you can reach out to the other moderators there. I'm sure these sisters will gladly just welcome you in. I know also that the moderators have a prayer email for people that need to be prayed for. And you can also email me directly on prayer requests. And I always ask that you would take, when you have a prayer request, put it in the subject line, prayer, urgent prayer if it's someone with cancer, something like that. And if it's something that serious, please include your phone number, because I may feel that on my heart to want to call you and pray for you personally. I do believe in that. I think what I'll do is one day share with you a lot of miracles that I've seen happen in my life, because sometimes that encourages people. I just don't like to use that as a plumb line in the ministry. So, but anyway, thank you guys so much for listening in. I don't know if we have Jennifer tonight in with us here, but if she's there, I want to thank her for being also. But we have about 4 or 5 moderators, and I know sometimes guys, they police pretty good, and sometimes people end up getting blocked, and they write me a letter. Oh, brother, I'm blocked. I can't believe I got blocked. I got a friend of mine that got blocked. I don't know why, but I have to find out what happened there.
Okay, let me answer this one. Let's not bash our brothers and sisters who are Catholic. Most are willing to do the will of God in
That's
spite of
right.
religion. And that's true. We don't want to bash the people in a faith. However, there is a call, and this is not us, you and me. This is God speaking to you in the book of
Revelation chapter 18.
Get out of her, my people.
Come out of her, my people.
Come out of her, my people. Exactly. So we are to come out of any system that has this,
yes, not just the Catholic
corrupt
system,
and bad leadership. And that's just not only Catholics, that's any other denomination.
Let me explain something to you, because you have to remember, in Revelation it speaks about the mother whore. All right? And she has harlot daughters. This scripture was fulfilled when the Pope of Rome was bringing in all the different denominations, including the evangelical groups. He was bringing their leaders underneath the umbrella of the Catholic Church, joining up with Israel in this covenant. That's why the Israeli government allowed the Catholic Church to have Mount Zion. They allowed them to hold the communion service not only in the upper room, but also in David's tomb as well. You see, but all these systems, Lutherans, Methodists, and it's not to say there's not good people in every one of them, including Catholics. But the thing is he knew, God himself knows that this was going to happen, and he knew that they would marry in. And you have to understand, there is a dangerous reptilian race that was back in the days of Yeshua, when it spoke about he crushed the serpent's head with his foot. He just revealed another one to me about it. Oh boy. So we're dealing with this system today. And that's not every Jew. There are many of them that are just blind, that don't know that their eyes will open. Pray for that remnant.
Yes,
anyway.
And there are many, many righteous Jewish people who just suffer, even in the state of Israel, with the Shas party.
Exactly.
And all these rabbinate really abusing them and their life and mixing into their private lives. I mean, there is so much we're going to bring you. So, yes, we love the Jewish people, we pray for them, but we love the Gentiles as well, because in Jesus Christ there is neither
Jew nor Gentile.
Or there is neither male
nor female,
or free or bond, or
that's right.
You know, so
there
we
are no
all
slaves.
One in Christ. And this is the true, real message of our Father.
The color of your skin does not make you less.
Matters.
It does not make you animalistic.
Right.
What makes a person animalistic is when you begin to talk like that in the first place.
Let's preach the true gospel, the New Testament. You know, we have a lot of focus on Torah, which is wonderful, the true Torah. But why don't we preach the New Testament, Stephen?
Get a copy if you guys can. And it's online. The Hebrew Gospel of Matthew. George Howard did a wonderful job translating. There's some things I would translate a little differently, but you get to see the Gospel of Matthew, because even the church fathers said Matthew wrote in the Hebrew language.
Mm-hmm. By his love, wow, and the Pope will just sit back and let the Jews lead the Christians, wow, and thanks. Well, what I want to tell you, sister, by his love, you go by his love, it's the name of sister who wrote this. Pope of Rome has signed up with the Noahide laws.
Yes, he has.
Pope of Rome has been trained in Noahide laws long before he became a pope.
When he was a cardinal, and sending the bishops and cardinals there as well to study the Noahide laws.
And Pope of Rome is sending his priests to Israel to study with rabbis like Rabbi Rifkin and then all the Sanhedrin rabbis to be trained in Noahide laws. So this is the factual information. So yes, he sure will. He's in it.
Absolutely. So anyway, guys, we love you. Thank you so much for watching. Blessings to you.
Please don't forget to hit the like button, because we have a lot of trolls. We have a lot of trolls and people that
they like to do the down button.
Yes, so please hit the like button, and we love you all.
If it's a blessing like the video, share the, and by the way too, when it's choppy and everything, keep in mind until we get this fixed,
And
and
if
I'll
you
try
don't
to call
understand
tomorrow.
everything we talk about, go to previous 2 chats because
Yes.
you know we cannot speak from beginning each time for what Noahide laws are.
And the video itself will load in a better quality after about 6-7 hours. So if you need to watch it again tomorrow, then it'll be without all the interruption stuff. We'll get that fixed, and hopefully maybe by this weekend it'll be up and going.
Thank you.
Blessings
guys.
to you all. Thank you for watching. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Soon, Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Whether they
shalom.
like it or not.
Well, you're a Jew, you can say it.
Yeah,
Most of them can't.
you're a Jew too.
Of course you can.
Blessings to you. Shalom.
So